Fox 4 Stephen Dial has been following the money. He joins us live with a previous early wake-up call for you. Appreciate it, sir.
Good morning. I'm always up at this time. But yeah, the surplus is a big priority because like you mentioned, it's a big amount of money. We're talking billions of extra dollars that the state of Texas did not anticipate having. And so that money is a big priority for lawmakers. And the big people, Governor Greg Abbott, Republican Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and the Republican Speaker Dave Phelan all believe that that money should go to taxpayers, but they have different opinions on exactly where that money should go and how it should be spent. Another costly priority identified by lawmakers is funding Operation Lone Star. Now, Democrats have been against it, saying it's not needed, and there's been millions of dollars being spent on this operation. Now, a smaller force is down at the border, now down to about 4,000 to 5,000 troops, National Guard troops, but the exact number is not known, but they have been scaling back and saying they want to continue to scale back. Now, neither is the exact impact known, but we know that the cost estimates about $2 million each week. Now, banning school books and school choice is something else that GOP lawmakers are going to continue to push in this next session that starts a week from today. Is school security still a top priority? We remember the Uvalde mass shooting that happened with 19 children and 2 teachers being killed down in Uvalde a couple of months ago. And so school security is going to be important. Democrats want it to be gun reform. That's not going to happen because there's not any bipartisanship on the Republican side that's going to do anything major on guns, but both sides will come together to focus on spending money on things like mental health and hardening our schools. And so it'll be interesting to see how school safety will be a priority in the session. And then we also have 2 firsts in North Texas that are heading to Austin. We have the first Muslim state lawmaker and the first openly gay black man lawmaker, both from our area. Salman Bojani is a former council member and mayor pro tem in Euless, and Vincent Jones is from South Dallas. He's replacing Jasmine Crockett, who represented that part of Dallas in the state legislature. Today, she'll be sworn in, replacing Eddie Bernice Johnson as the new congresswoman from Dallas. And so a lot of money being spent. A lot of people have different opinions on where it's going to be spent. So the legislature starting in a week, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, you talk about that border policy. I know Governor Abbott's office says it has apprehended more than 300,000 migrants, taken more than 354 million doses of fentanyl off the streets. But you have federal authorities that have kind of a different assessment of that, and then it's one of those few items where you've got state lawmakers dealing with the expenses of that, but then federal authorities also dealing with their own expenses there, and it sort of pits the two against each other.
Right, and I mean, there's no secret. No one can deny there is a major problem on the border, but neither side will come together and try to come up with a solution together, and that's likely going to be the case when we're talking about this a year from now. And so a lot of money being spent. Governor Abbott has been touting Operation Lone Star. They have made apprehensions, they have made arrests, they have seized drugs, but it's continuing to happen. And so some are questioning, why is the state making this investment if it's continuing to happen and increasing? And also, some Republicans are starting to get a little fatigued from Operation Lone Star because the state is funneling millions of dollars to this and nothing is changing. And of course, Republicans are saying that it's Joe Biden and the Democrats' fault. And so they don't want to spend their money on something that they think is a Democrat/federal issue.
Right, and a lot of people are also certainly hoping that school security would be a higher priority, especially after the Uvalde tragedy. All right, Stephen Dial, we appreciate this morning. You getting up with us and hashing all this out. Thanks.
No problem, man.